Oh, hi there. I didn't see you come in. I was just listening to my 4,000th consecutive listen of All the Small Things by Blink-182 and contemplating the subtle intricacies of Tom DeLonge's sweet, dulcet tones. But I'm sure you and I are thinking the same thing. Hey, Carthony Lostano, if All the Small Things is such a fantastic, groundbreaking song, then why isn't there an All the Small Things, the video game? And I hear ya. I too yearn for the day that I get to experience all the small things with not just my ears, but with my hands as well.
This is the greatest day of my life.
Rhythm games are fucking sick. I love them, you love them. They make you feel like Freddie Mercktoven, Halen, Morissette when you're really good at them. And overall, they're a really great time whether you're like Guitar Hero, Rock Band, Project Diva, Yakuza. And I just thought it'd be a neat idea to make a little retrospective on the rhythm game genre as a whole, because it's a genre that I hold near and dear to my heart, and I need content for you to see and to give me sweet, sweet validation for. So as a wise fucking baller once said,
Are you ready?
now, like all good things, rhythm games first emerged from the far-off land of Japan in the early 1970s. One day, this horny fuck named Kenzo Furukawa decided, hey, why don't we make a rhythm game where we lift girls' skirts to the rhythm of some Posty, or like maybe some like Travis, you know what I'm saying, dog? Okay, maybe they didn't say that last part. Technically speaking, this horny-ass arcade game was the first instance of a rhythm game, but rhythm games as we know them today didn't actually get their start until 1996, when Parappa the Rapper came out on the PlayStation 1. The gameplay of Poggers the Rocker basically consisted of pressing a button to the rhythm of Parappa's fire-as-hell bars, and this basically set the groundwork for the basic gameplay of all future rhythm games coming after Parappa the Rapper. And y'all can go off about your beautiful, dark, twisted fantasies or whatnot, but Kanye wishes he could pull off the lyrical prowess of Mussolini's car rap, and yes, that is her actual name. Cooking with Cheap Cheap, straight flames. I'm feeling a strong 10 on this one. Transition. After the success of Pango Rango, rhythm games of all sorts started exploding in Japan. And at the top of the rhythm game food chain was our boys Konami, releasing games like Beatmania, which like utilized this DJ turntable as a controller, and you would press buttons and scrub the records, and it truly made you the DJ that Usher was singing about. But Konami's most noteworthy achievement in the rhythm game world was in 1998 with this little game, maybe you've heard of it, called Dance Dance Revolution. And it kind of Dance Dance revolutionized the whole arcade market in Japan and overseas too. Like, this game was so goddamn successful that arcades in America had to import arcades from Japan illegally because the demand for these things were so high and the game itself was so fucking fire. I think that the machine that I played as a kid at the local Silver City movie theater was DDR Supernova, and you best believe that I was busting it wide open with some Moon and some Red Zone, like fuck yes. Speed Rave! Speed Rave! Now, Dance Dance Revolution wasn't the only earth-shattering contribution that Konami made to the rhythm game genre. They also made this little game called Guitar Freaks, which utilized this weird guitar-shaped controller with 5 little colored buttons at the other end. Oh, this is looking kind of familiar. Where have I seen this before? And even though Guitar Freak still continues to get releases in Japan to this very day, over here in the icky, gross, barfy Americas, the game was never strongly advertised. And at the time, rhythm games were starting to gain more and more traction over here in the West. I mean, what can I say? People could not get enough Donkey Konga. And this allowed 2 little baby companies named Red Octane and Harmonix to sort of stroll up on the scene in their little strollers and maybe reinvent the Guitar Freaks formula. And by that I mean they completely ripped it off, slapped a new name on them, and accidentally made 2 of the biggest music game Goliaths ever. And thus, they brought Guitar Hero and Rock Band into this weird, wacky, crazy world. Hallelujah. The gameplay of Guitar Hero and Rock Band are very similar to that of Guitar Freaks, except they added 2 more note colors and decided to forego the kind of ugly looking UI of Guitar Freaks for a single note highway with footage of your band rocking out on stage with some rock and punk and metal music from literally every possible era of music. The differences in these 2 games lie solely on the presentation. Rock Band, aside from the sick as hell opening sequence, opted to be the more straight-laced of the 2 games, focusing more on your career as a band rather than doing anything too drastic, while Guitar Hero over here, on the other hand, decided to down 15 Adderall for their 3rd game and have you play against fucking Satan himself in a rock-off for your soul in hell to a metal cover of The Devil Went Down to Georgia, and people tell me that I'm wrong for believing that video games have gone downhill. Whatever. Guitar Hero came out in 2005 and Rock Band came out in 2007, and for years, these 2 games sort of dominated the music game market over here in the West. They'd release installment after installment, and once they got bored of making numbered entries, they would just make games based upon an entire band. I'm talking Guitar Hero Aerosmith, Metallica, Van Halen. I'm talking Beatles Rock Band, Green Day Rock Band, Lego Rock Band, Belinda Carlisle Rock Band. Ooh, baby, do you know what that's worth? Ooh, heaven is a place on earth. Or at least, it was. Nothing lasts forever, and eventually, the Peripheral rhythm game craze died down around late 2013. And our boys Harmonix and Activision really tried to revive the genre with Guitar Hero Live and Rock Band 4, but they just didn't take off the same way that their predecessors did, and it became painstakingly clear that the era of Peripheral rhythm games had come to an end. And it's basically cemented both Guitar Hero and Rock Band as rhythm game relics of the past, which are still so fucking fun to go back to. Honestly, Rock Band and Guitar Hero are still some of the most fun you could ever have with a rhythm game. The game's aged beautifully, the gameplay is so goddamn good, and if you're somehow lucky enough to have a copy of Rock Band or like Guitar Hero World Tour, and then you have 2 guitars, a drum kit, and a microphone maybe, as well as a big old group of friends to just fucking rock out to some Jimmy Eat World, then in my opinion you have one of the greatest gaming experiences you could ever have just right there. Or maybe you just hate the middle, and in that case then you deserve the death sentence. After the Peripheral craze of the late 2000s died down and motion controls slowly started to take hold of the game market, we started to see less games about playing music and more so games about dancing to music. Especially after Ubisoft released their little jewel, Just Dance, in 2009. If you somehow don't know what Just Dance is, what the fuck, but I'll explain it to you. Just Dance is a game where you try to copy whatever dance moves the avatar on screen is doing, and you're graded based on how well you can perform the choreography. But apparently critics hate busting the dance floor wide open to some girls just want to have fun, because this game did horribly critically when it first came out, but it sold 4.3 million copies. And since then, Ubisoft has been releasing Just Dances on a yearly basis, and for the 2020 edition, which came out less than a year ago, they made the almost inadvisable decision to release it on the Wii. And it somehow outsold the Xbox One and PS4 versions of the game, which, I know, what the fuck? Now, at this point in our little rhythm game retrospective, I'm gonna pull a Huey Lewis in the News and get back in time to 2004. Because we've only looked at one side of the rhythm game equation. We've just been looking at what's going on in America. We haven't even touched the red giant fucking supernova that's going on in Japan through all this. So in Japan, rhythm games have been completely booming since the 90s, and in 2004, Sega released this new arcade game, rhythm game, called Oshihare Majo Love and Berry. And this game was starting to skyrocket in Japanese arcades everywhere. It was this collectible card game where a little machine would give you a card, and then you would swipe the card into the machine, and you could customize this little e-girl virtual waifu des on the screen. You customize her outfit, and then once you were done that, it would take you to a rhythm game and you would play the rhythm game. And most of the heavy hitters in the arcade game developer sphere in Japan, they started to release their own versions of this game, and these games were usually catered towards younger girls, but of course the world is full of special people, and it didn't just attract little girls. And eventually, this little craze gave way to something much darker and sinister. So 2008 rolls around and these magical things called virtual idols start popping up. And I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. For the next 10 years, aside from the usual Japanese arcade rhythm games, these idle rhythm games for mobile devices just become this cultural phenomenon all over Japan and with weebs the world over. Such amazing, noteworthy titles like Love Live, Bang Girls or whatever, and Idol Master, Cinderella Girls, Starlight Stage, Ultimate Ninja Storm 3, and Knuckles Budokai featuring Dante from Hello Kitty Roller Rescue. If you haven't played one of these idle rhythm games before, yeah, right. They're basically just kind of like Guitar Hero. There's notes coming towards you on the screen, and then you just gotta tap them in time with the song. These games also usually have this sort of gacha game, sort of loot boxy mechanic where players can roll to get new idols, and then they can put those new idols on their team. Legends say if you pull 3 5 stars in a row, then you attain double virginity. And trust me, you're gonna need it to combat the water slide of pussy that you're gonna be rolling in from playing Love Live. I've played my fair share of these back in high school, and yeah, I'm pretty sure I committed a cardinal sin and have given away part of my soul to Lucifer himself, but I pulled a 5-star Nozomi, so get off my fucking back. But if you want the real best of the best when it comes to these kinds of rhythm games, then we gotta talk about a little game company named Rayark. Every game that these boys release is just amazing. When they released their first rhythm game, Citus, in 2012, it single-handedly created this mobile rhythm game craze, which eventually got overrun with degeneracy. So whether you want to look at this as an absolute win or an absolute loss is up to you. But their crowning achievement is one of my favorite games of all time, and it's a little game called Deemo. I can make an entire video on Deemo by itself, but in short, it takes the basic, just general gameplay of these touchscreen rhythm games and applies it to a piano rhythm game. And it works exceptionally well. Every song you play makes you feel like Ludwig van Beethoven himself as you just go off tapping every little note like you're some concert pianist. It feels cool as shit, it's fun as hell, the music is beautiful, and the story itself is just short, it's simple, and it's bittersweet. And oh, I love this game! Which brings us to today, where rhythm games have just sort of faded into the background as the dancing game craze is starting to die down like the Peripheral game craze before it. The ooh-woo weeb shit oh whoa idle rhythm games are still around and they have their passionate following, but in the overall gaming community, this genre of video games, which used to just compete with like AAA shit, has just sort of faded into this niche little corner of the game market. And we don't really see that many prevalent rhythm games anymore. I mean, fuck, back in the day, we had a maraca rhythm game, a DJ rhythm game, multiple installments of Donkey Konga. Sure, there are some exceptions here and there, but the only real rhythm game that I've seen to reach the same sort of levels as Guitar Hero and Rock Band has been Beat Saber, and that game is a fucking blast to play through, and if you have the equipment, get it. Personally speaking, I've loved rhythm games ever since I was a little kid, just jamming out to Guitar Hero World 2 on the drums with my dad, and we would just play Living on a Prayer fucking non-stop. And I really hope that we see some sort of resurgence to these kinds of rhythm games in the future, because they're really, really great. And there's only so many times that I can listen to All the Small Things before it gets old. Yeah, right!